Hello, guys, good morning. How are you? So, today, one more day when we have the chance to see through a video, right? And this is gonna be the last video for the week, of course, and for our regular classes. This is actually a study guide video, okay? So, I just want to remind you that this is just for you to study it because all of this is gonna be part of your exam, okay? Today is Friday, June 12, 2020, okay? But before we start our class, let's pray, okay? So put your hands together and follow my lead. Dear God, today we're here to celebrate one more day, one more chance to live and be here. One more day to breathe and see all of the good things you have done. Today, I'm grateful I have my brain fresh so I can learn and I can study. And I appreciate if you help me through a path where I can go and learn so many things each day, not only from school but from life. I am grateful for all the good things you have given me, especially my health and my family. I beg you have mercy on those who are not defeated to all the things that are happening and that all this comes to an end really soon. Amen. Very good. Okay, so today's Friday, June 12, 2020. Okay, remember. And we're gonna have our exam in a few days, okay? So you're gonna have today, the rest of the day, of course, and the weekend to study for English and some other days. But I know you have also Spanish and math exams, so try to get organized so you have the time to study, okay? Let's start. Okay, like I told you, it's the study guide, okay? So, yesterday with Miss Norma, you talk about some other topics, right? We're gonna talk about grammar and reading this in this study guide, okay? So this is gonna be only the study guide for grammar and reading, okay? Let's study together, okay? That's right. So, do you remember this Monday we talk about antonyms? Do you remember what is an antonym? So an antonym are words with the opposite or contrasting meaning, okay? We're gonna see some examples like the ones you already we already saw in the class, remember? So one of them can be happy or sad, but do you remember some of these have other opposites, like for example happy and angry? And for example, I don't know, maybe let's say relieved and nervous, right? Those are feelings. We're talking about emotions right here. So happy is the opposite of sad. That's the antonym. Day and night. Okay, so that's opposite because it's obvious, right? And during the day we have the sun, we have natural light, and at night we barely have light, right? We need to use our light bulbs at home. So that's the opposite, day and night. Then we have right and wrong. So that's really simple, right? If you have something that can be also correct or incorrect, right? Or it sounds similar also to good or bad, right? Right, like when you have something okay in your exam or when something is not correct, right? It's wrong. Good. Oh, there you go. Short and tall. So some people might be short, like I am short, and for example, Miss Norma is tall, right? Am I short? And Miss Norma is tall, right? Open and close. So we can see the example here really easily, right? So one door is closed, it's shut it down. So the other one is open where you can see the outside. Okay? Old, like grandparents, right? They are old. And you and maybe your brother or sister or your classmates are young, right? Because you guys are 7 and maybe the old people are like 70 or 80, right? We have 2 baskets. One is full. Full means that it has lots of things on it, right? Like here, it can be, what do you think? I think they're apples, right? So they're full with apples. And the other one is empty. That means there has nothing in it, right? We have a rabbit or a hare, and we have a turtle. So the rabbit jumps and it's really fast, but the turtle walks and is really slow. So that's the contrasting, that's the antonym. One goes super fast and one goes really slow, right? Okay, we have 2 monkeys right here. Like the emotion, this can work out like that, right? So one monkey is crying, and the other one laughs like ha 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 ha. So that's a contrasting, right? Because someone is crying and someone is laughing. We have also these 2 kids. One is completely dry, the girl, because she has an umbrella. She's covering herself from the rain. And the boy is all soaking wet because he doesn't have a protection, right? So that's opposite too. You can be wet and the opposite might be dry, okay? Well, that was about antonyms. Remember, contrasting, opposites. Okay, good. So now we have singular and plural. That was also an easy lesson we had with Miss Norma. Do you remember? We had some reviews about this. So this is gonna be really easy to talk about. So let's check it out, okay? Oh, there you go. There. Okay, so do you remember, to begin with, what a noun is? Do you? Okay, so I'll remind you. A noun, it can be a person, a place, an animal, or a thing. Okay, so it can be these 4. That's how you identify what a noun is. Okay, it goes in the first part most of the time of the sentence. Okay, now what's a singular noun? Remember, I put this. It is when a noun means only one. Singular, one. When it names only one person, one animal, one place, or one thing. Singular, one. Okay? For example, we have here pictures of different stuff. Like, for example, we have one bird, one doctor, pencil, and school. We have only one of each, okay? So that these are singular, okay? Now, what is a plural noun? It is when there is 2 or more nouns, so more than one person, place, animal, or thing. So it can be 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 or 20 or 50 or 100, okay? But that will be already plural noun. For example, we have here birds. So the first one before was only one, remember? Because it was singular. We were talking about singular nouns. Now we have plural nouns and we have birds. For example, here we have 3 birds, right? And then we have 2 schools. We have 5 doctors and we have how many pencils? Can you count them? 6. 6 pencils, okay? So now we're talking about plural. There are rules, remember, for plural nouns, okay? What do I mean? So, did you remember? Let's go back a little. All of these are ending up only with letter S, right? So I added to the original word only the word S. The letter S. So there's some rules for other words, okay? Because some other words are written different. Most of the nouns, like the ones I show you, add S to form plural, and that's gonna be it. But some other nouns that end, for example, with SH, CH, X, Z, or S, we have to add ES. Then we have nouns that end with vowel plus a letter Y. We add letter S, okay? Or we have nouns that end with consonant plus a letter Y, and we change the Y to a I and add ES. Also, we have nouns that end with F or FE, and there are changed the F or FE to BES, okay? Nouns that end with vowel plus the letter O, and we have to add the letter S. And nouns that end with consonant plus an O, and we add ES, okay? I'll show you the example so it gets more clear. For the first rule, like we mentioned, most of the nouns we just add the letter S, as in teacher, okay? If we want to do more than one teacher, it's gonna be teachers, okay? We only add letter S. If it ends with SH, like fish, we add ES, so it's gonna be fish, fishes. If the word ends with a Y followed by a vowel, we just add the S, like day and days. With a word that ends up with consonant plus a letter Y, it's gonna be switch the letter Y for an I, and we're gonna add ES, like in the word baby. So baby is gonna switch to babies with I, okay? Then we have the word life, which ends with FE, and it's gonna be finishing with a plural, as a plural with BES. So it's gonna be from life to lives. Then we have the word Sue, which are two consonants, especially talking about the letter O, okay? So they're just gonna be finishing with an S. So Sue, Sues. And then we have tomato, which the rule says if it ends with a consonant and an O, we're gonna add ES. And it's gonna be tomato in singular and tomatoes in plural, okay? Very good. Now we're gonna go back to reading this time. We are done with grammar, okay? But please let me know if you have any questions. Of course, remember to ask the questions before the exam, okay? Now we're gonna talk about a fascinating colony. Do you remember this story about the ants? Okay, this is gonna be the reading part, so let's pay attention. I make it a shorter version, so it's easy to go through it, okay? A Fascinating Colony by Emilia Urquiza. The genre is expository. Expository text tells facts about real people, places, animals, or things. This article tells about ants. We're gonna talk about ants. These little insects that are amazing, right? Do you remember the story? If you don't worry, we'll read about it. The big question is, How is an insect community like a community of people? So, what do you think about that? I think they're alike because they're all working together. So, what do you think? What do you remember about this lesson? Okay, I'll move there. Look at this little insect. It's an ant. Ants are fascinating. Ants live in communities called colonies. A colony has many ants. You can find colonies of ants everywhere. Some are in your garden. Even if you leave dirty stuff in your counter, in your kitchen, there might be ants, right? Red or black. Others live inside trees in the forest, and some others in the sandy desert. Look, they live inside anthills. You can see an anthill here and down there too. There. Some ants eat honeydew, plants, and fruit. Others eat meat from other insects. That looks yucky, right? They are eating a cockroach. Blah. Ants work together for the benefit of the community because they are making different things, right? In the colony, each ant has a special role. There are many different roles. So that means each of the ants have a special thing to do, okay? Scout ants leave the nest in search of food. Hunter ants look for new prey to eat. The guardians protect the colony from danger, okay? So we have three leads here. Scout ants, hunter ants, and guardian ants, okay? How many do we have? 3. Now we have 4. The transporters bring food to the colony. They also carry tiny rocks and pieces of wood. These workers work hard to build their home. Okay? And here's the ant queen. She lays eggs and rules over the colony. Look, she is the largest. Can you see it? She's the biggest ant in the colony. How do ants communicate? They produce chemical signs. Can you see this? These ants are following a chemical trail. So they're leaving a trail so they can follow it, and that way they're like a pretending way to talk to each other, okay? So they are still connected. Ants also use their antenna to produce songs. They do their jobs and they look after each other. They work so organized, right? Colonies are just like a big family. Very good. So, we're gonna talk about some questions about all of this reading exercise. Okay, the first one is really easy because I just gave you the answer. It's, what's the name of the story? Well, A Fascinating Colony. That's the name of this story. Who is the author? Remember I said by Emilia Urquiza? That's the author. What's the genre of the story? It's an expository text because it's talking about a real thing, okay? What's the big question? How is an insect community like a community of people? Okay? And number 5, what do we talk about here? We're talking about how ants live, how they are organized, how they communicate. everything about ants' life, okay? Then we have, where do ants live? Name 3. Can you think about them before I spell them? Let's see. So we have that they live in the garden. It can be in your garden, and hills, forest, and the desert, right? Then we have number 7. Mention one role the ants have. So I mentioned 3, but if you can only mention one as what I ask. Okay, I'm just giving you ideas. Scout, hunters, transporters, and which one else did I miss? Guardians, the ones that keep everything safe from other insects to go back in their houses, right? Who is the largest ant? Well, that's easy, right? Do you remember the big ant at almost the end with all the eggs? That was the queen. So the queen ant is the largest. Name one way ants communicate. So they mentioned 2 ways. They produce chemical signs, or they produce songs with their antenna, remember? And the final question, what is the name of a lot of ants? That was at the beginning and at the end. A colony, okay? Very good. So that's gonna be it. That was an easy and fast review of all these topics, right? We studied 3 things, grammar and reading, but we have 2 topics of grammar, which was singular and plural and antonyms. And we have reading, a fascinating colony. So I want you to check it out and study really hard, because some of these things, well, these are going to be the 3 basic topics that are going to be in your exam. So I want you to study. You have some days, but I know you also have to study for Spanish and math and all the rest of your assignments, right? So your exam, so you know, will be Wednesday, June 17th, okay? So I wish you good luck in your exams and knock them out with your genius, because I know you guys are really smart and you're gonna make it, right? So I'll see you soon, okay? Bye.